Welcome to our next topic, Remedial Course Design Needs Analysis. Our objective for today is to determine the importance of needs analysis to language learners with difficulty in the language macro skills. But before doing it, before crafting the paper, we have to, as what I have said earlier, to do needs analysis. We have to diagnose first what are the learning difficulty, kung unsay panginahanglan nun learning needs of our students. Just like a doctor, before giving this resita, dapat kabalo na si doktor kung unsa imuhang sakit. In this remedial program as teacher, you already know before crafting, before giving those pupils instruction related to remedial, we have to know first unsay iyahang panginahanglanon. Asa siya weak. That's the case here. That's the time that we do the needs analysis. We do needs analysis in order for us to find out who among our students really needs remedial and what kind of remediation he or she needs. Needs analysis is the family of procedure. This is a procedure wherein you gather information about your learner. Okay, learners and about communication tasks. Remember that here in the remedial instruction, remember that we have to do remedial instruction in English, we have to really focus on how the language is being used. We have to focus in the communication because listening is involved in the communication, reading is involved in the communication, speaking is involved in the communication. So as with the 5 macro skills are really involved in the communication. So we need to have this one. This is a survey. It could be done by It could be done through an interview. It could be done through letting the students answer some forms for gathering information about your students. So needs analysis is a systematic collection of analysis of all the subjective. We have to tackle later what are the subjective needs and then the objective or subjective information and then the objective information. This is necessary to do the needs analysis for us to really para makakuanta makahatag tag sakto nga remediation para sa bata. Kumbaga sa doktor pa, we need to do the examination first to further test kanang i-ultrasound pa ka, i-CT scan pa ka para mahibaw-an kung unsa imong sakit ug mahibaw-an kung unsay mga tambal nga ihatag sa imuha. Knowing that you have this particular learning difficulty or needs, pag-speaking ra pod imuhang i-input. Kay mo ra man imong gikinahanglan, dili na ka mag kana na ay tananon nimo og input just like the other regular session. Kasi sa regular classrooms or sa session, tanan man to na ay input for listening, na ay input for reading, na ay input for this particular macro skills, generic. But here in the remedial class, this is individualized. Okay, this is based on the need. Subjective needs, these are the cognitive and the affective needs of our learners. Sometimes they will not learn, they are not interested to learn these things because it does not fit to their kanang hilig, okay, to their expectations. Okay, subjective needs, this refers to the student's self-confidence. This refers to the student's attitude towards learning. This refers to the student's expectation about the course. For objective needs, these are the observable. Okay, these are the observable factual information, okay, about the learner. Or we can term this one, these are the biographical data about the learner. Pila iyang edad, unsa siya, babae ba siya, lalaki, nationality, education background. Maybe one objective needs can be diagnosed by the teacher, of course, by the basis of just observing and analysis of the personal data about the learner. Okay. Why do we need to do this one? What are the purposes of doing the needs analysis? Of course, again, the first one, to find out the language skills of the learner. Unsa nga language skills yung gikinahanglan katuba sa 5 macro skills. And then to determine which student from a group are the most in need of the training in particular language skills. And of course, ipuno pa ni siya kung asa po siya dapat iipon. Okay? Kani mga group of listening, group sa speaking, group sa reading. Needs analysis as well as needed in order for us to identify the gap. Remember, we have to go back to the purpose of the remedial instruction to bridge the gap, to close the gap between the students have learned and expected to learn. So in doing the needs analysis, we can determine the gap, to identify the gap. And then unsam mao ni siya, mao ra niyang kinahanglan ni student so that you can give that particular instruction. Next one, to collect information about a particular problem the learner are experiencing. Then the last one, to determine their communicative abilities in English. Remember, communication. Okay? These are the steps. First, we have to determine, again, we have to start with our purpose. And then, needs analysis, the perceived and the present needs, as well as the potential and then unrecognized needs. When you say perceived, you have to ask the students what do you think nga imuhang kakulangon. And then the present needs gid siya. This present needs is really is done or it's known through needs analysis. You can have this one prior to determine the learning needs, and then during the instruction we do this as well in order for us to check whether we have provided the right instruction or not. And then after a language program, this after the language program needs analysis will really tell us whether the students can go back to the regular classroom or not. So what are needs? These are the wants, the desires, the demand, the expectation, the motivation, the lack, the constraints of the bata. In short, panginahanglan nun sa bata. Okay? Linguistic deficiency. So we already have this one, no, objective needs and subjective needs. These are the factual information, and these are the attitude. These are the affective needs, the emotional needs of the learners. All right? So these are the things, these are the procedure, these are the instrument nga atong pwede magamit as teachers, okay, in order for us to do the needs analysis. We can have the questionnaires. As what I have said, just like in your research, you lay down questions and then letting the students to answer or respondents to answer the questions based on their good self-evaluation. You can have this one, the questionnaires. And we can do the discourse analysis. This is method studying written or spoken language. So you let your students write something, and then as the one doing this needs analysis, you have to study if the students, this is very common for discourse analysis, is common for writing and then for speaking remediation. You can have discussions. For discussions, this involve all. Okay, that's a one-on-one interview, for example, because for discussions, you can really check whether the students listen to you or not. And then for observations, this is done with you as a teacher staying in the classroom for a while and then observing the students. That whenever you do the observations, especially if that is a formal observations, you have to bring something, a pen, a notebook, or a checklist in order for you to check, in order for you to have basis, in order for you to record the information nga imong nakita on that particular case. Okay? So these are the types of needs nga imong kinahanglan. Target needs analysis, unsay imuhang ganahan sa learner nga mahitabo. Ganahan ko nga kani ako mga learner they can speak at the end of the session. For example, naswertihan ka nga tanan they need speaking, okay? So kani target needs analysis. What the learner should like, what the learner should be at the end of the program. Present situation analysis, this is talking about the learner's strength and weaknesses. Because in the present situation analysis, we have to really pick the weakness, language weaknesses of the students. Kaya parang adto ta mo hatag og further instruction. And this one, pedagogic analysis, this is the result of doing the subjective analysis, because in the result of the subjective needs, because in the subjective needs atong tan-awon dito kung unsa nga methodology iyahang ganahan. All right, so in this pedagogic analysis, we can learn, or we can what do you call this one, as a teacher we will know on what particular method that we are going to use in carrying out the instruction inside this remedial session. Kaya mao ni ganahan sa akong bata, mao ni ganahan sa bata, mao ni ganahan sa ako ang mga learners. If you are aware of teaching according to the learning style in your PC, okay, pedagogic courses, in your PC subject, nato ditoy we have to teach according to the learning styles of our learners. All right, am I
Okay ra, sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.